AJR is a band made up of 3 brothers that started around 2005, and if you've spent any amount of time online, you have probably seen the hate surrounding them, saying that they make some of the worst music, some of the most corporate stuff out there, and that it has no soul. But why is that? I mean, they have a lot of popular songs and they have a lot of monthly listeners, so at least some people like them. Well, it's pretty easy when you see everybody else clowning on them and saying how bad their music is online to just go along with it, but I wanted to figure it out for myself, so I went and listened through all of their albums, and we're going to figure out today if AJR really deserves the hate. So the first thing I had to do when coming into this video was figuring out why they get so much hate in the first place. Before this video, I hadn't really listened to any of their songs before. I heard some of the bigger ones in passing, like on the radio or just in the background, and would occasionally put on World's Smallest Violin, you know, for the memes. So I had to go to a place where there's way too much overly passionate people talking about their opinions. So I went to Reddit, and then I went through this post and found a bunch of reasonings of why people hate AJR so much. And I've seen a lot of these comments kind of repeated on maybe YouTube videos or like Instagram comments, but I'm mostly going to be taking them from this post, that way I have them all just from one place. So one of the big things I saw about why people hate them so much is that their lyrics are corny or cliche. And I would kind of agree with this idea to some extent. I mean, their first 2 albums, Living Room and The Click, felt very kind of just party song that you put on in the background. I feel like most of them didn't have that much going on with the lyrics. But then I feel like a shift happened around the 3rd album, Neo Theater, where they started to kind of get more into that storytelling of actually making the lyrics like have a message behind them. And then I feel like as they go on, they've been getting better and better with them. I think a lot of the newer ones have a lot better, more kind of thought out lyrics that are more purposefully telling like a story to them. Even the EP that came out a few months ago, that one has lyrics that just sound like from any kind of normal song and don't really lean on that kind of cheesy party feel that the first older ones did. Whenever they're trying to like tell their story in an interesting or creative way that's not just simply stating it, the lyrics tend to go a lot better. But when they're just simply saying how they feel, then it can be a little bit cheesy or corny. Like you think about the lyrics to Bang, "Let's go out with a bang" is the main lyric, and that's kind of the whole theme of the song. It's not really saying that much besides let's just go party. But then if you look at the dog song where they're talking about, you know, their own experiences through the lens of a dog, it's a lot more of like interesting idea for lyrics instead of just like directly saying the emotion that they're feeling like some of the other ones. A lot of the lyrics in their songs remind me of musical theater, which usually is trying to tell a story, which kind of their later albums are doing, but also tends to state things a bit more directly. That way you can follow the story being told. And another thing I saw mentioned a lot was that their music is soulless, or that it all sounds the same. Now, after listening to all their albums, I wouldn't call them soulless. Now, maybe the first 2 have a lot more of that party feel, and it doesn't feel like there's that much going on, like they're just trying to get your attention. So maybe you can make an argument for those 2, but definitely as they go further down, I wouldn't say they're soulless at all. They're definitely trying to tell a message, and they're doing it from a place with high authenticity. I mean, even the production helps give it some more soul and different feeling that you might get from some other songs. But the issue with them all sounding the same is that the big ones kind of do. Like if you're just the kind of average person who's going to be hearing them on the radio, or maybe when you're walking through the store, and just the biggest songs that get pushed there, those ones kind of do have the same feel. Whenever I'm listening through the albums, I would get to one of those like big songs and be like, oh, this feels like it's going to be one of the biggest ones, and then check, and of course that's one of the ones that's like on the top 10 on the Spotify page. And those ones just kind of have this like same big drum feel, kind of like this anthem party vibe. So I could definitely see an argument being made there that like, yeah, the top biggest ones do kind of sound the same. But if you listen to like any of the other ones, they definitely don't all sound the same. Like one of the first ones that really sticks out when you think about a song sounding pretty different from them is if you go back to that EP that released a few months ago, the first track off that, The Plane That Never Lands, that one just starts with simple acoustic guitar and then just some gentle piano and vocals on it. And that sounds completely different from one of the songs like Bang, for example. They can sometimes lean a bit too much into that party feel, especially on the older albums, but they definitely are able to mix it up and not have all the songs sound exactly the same. And one idea that I saw pop up here and there for why people hate them so much is that they have no concept of music theory. Sounds like they took one music theory class and just tried to pour all that information into one song. And I think as somebody who knows a bit about music theory, this is definitely not true. I think it'd be really fun to do like a full breakdown on one of their songs. If that's something you're interested in, you could like leave a comment, but I just want to show you like one of the songs, for example, to show you like the music theory in here is actually pretty decent. So if you think about most basic pop songs, they're using 4 chords the whole time. The 1, 4, 5, and 6, and then just kind of mixing them up between them. But if you take arguably like one of their biggest songs, The World's Smallest Violin, and look at the chord choices they're using, it's actually some pretty interesting ones. So it starts on an F chord, which is the 1 of the key, and then it goes up to an F sharp diminished, which creates this really interesting sound. Then it goes up to the 2 of the key, which is G minor, and then from there it walks up going from the chords, so G minor to A minor to B flat to C. Just in the verse alone, we've already used way more chords than most pop songs are using. And then when it goes into the pre-chorus, it does some interesting stuff there as well. So it starts on the 4 of the key, which is a B flat, and then goes down to an F major in first inversion. So it's changing the notes to continue this movement going downwards between the notes, because you'll see it go. Then it goes down to a G minor and then back up to a C, which is the 5 of the chord. This is already so much more than you'll see in like a pop song, and the movement that the chords are doing creates this feeling of rising and sinking, which gets mirrored by the lyrics, and it fits super well. And it does some more interesting stuff as the song goes on, how the melody fits in, and some more cool chord choices. But basically what I'm getting at is that they definitely know what they're doing with the music theory, and it's not just cobbled together, and kind of better than most things you'd find in pop songs. And a lot of their chord choices that I noticed just from listening through a bunch of them is it does kind of again pull on that concept of musical theater, which I've heard them talk about in an interview or two that I've watched getting ready for this video. Because like when you're only using 4 chords in basic pop music, you're so limited to the kind of sounds that you can build. But when you're expanding it and using all these different kinds of chords and using inversions to build, you know, melodies within the chords, then you can get so much of a more like creative idea and be able to enhance the story that you're trying to tell with the melody and lyrics. So I think that's like pretty good. And the last thing I was really surprised to see people not hating on as much as I thought they would, but was definitely one of the biggest turnoffs when listening through all their albums, was the production choices. They'll sometimes just throw in like the most random sounds or kind of vocal things going on that just don't really quite fit with the song. Of course, the biggest, most egregious example of this is Thirsty. But like I've been saying, that's off the first album. They were just trying experimental stuff that should say experimental. But as it goes on, it does get better throughout the albums and sort of fits together more. But there are always just tons of weird parts that feel like they don't quite fit or like help the song, but just kind of are cool from a production standpoint. I feel like it's been throughout all their albums, but the one that had it the least was probably the most recent one, The Maybe Man. And the EP that they released after it had like hardly any of these kind of weird production-y things going on. It was definitely really weird and kind of like off-putting at first when you first listen to the songs, but as you keep listening to them, they kind of become charming in a way. Like I know a super goofy vocal sample is going to be played on the keys at the end of Christmas in June, and I kind of don't like it, but also having it come, I also kind of look forward to it just because it's so goofy. Like it is very unique in the way of what they're able to build up with it. So I could definitely see that being a bit of a turn off if you're trying to listen to them, but it's definitely not like that bad. I feel like it doesn't take away from too many of the songs, although there's a couple of them that it kind of does. But I feel like for the most part, the production choices are manageable, and sometimes they can even help enhance it. So, do I think AJR deserves all the hate that they've gathered online? No, not really. The biggest thing seems to be that the music that they make is just not what most people are looking for, and then it kind of comes off as a bit cringy or bad to them. Or that they post too much on social media and people are sick of seeing a band they don't really want to listen to, and they just get burnt out and exhausted on seeing them show up. But I think specifically if you like musical theater, or just kind of music that's talking more about like kind of emotional stuff, I think you will enjoy listening to them. I've enjoyed listening through all of their albums. I'd say if you're looking to kind of give them a try and build your own opinion on it, I would say start with the OK Orchestra album, and then if you like the lyrics of that, move forward into The Maybe Man and then the EP that they released, What No One Else Is Thinking. But then if you like more the production kind of party feel of that album, work your way backwards through Neo Theater, The Click, and then Living Room if you want Well, that's about all I have to say. Hopefully you agree with these takes. I don't think they deserve all the hate that they get. It's mostly just people seeing that everyone else says they're bad and then just kind of hopping on there. Let me know if you'd like to see any breakdowns of their songs, because a lot of them have some interesting stuff going on, and I think it would be fun to talk about it. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.